shiny friends. I've missed you. I am adding my offering to the Shine channel. We're going to do a Yogalates class actually today. If you have these items, you might want to grab them. You don't need them though. So a yoga block, a yoga strap, and some light weights if you want to use light weights. These are 2-pounders, so they're very light weights. I would keep it pretty light, and obviously you don't need weights. Maximum, if you're used to using weights and you want to go heavier, I would say around 4 pounds. So that's kind of the range of weights for today. Just whenever you're ready, you can grab the weights if you want to use them. And again, you don't have to. Come to standing, bend your elbows. Remember when you're using weights, shoulders gently on the back, shoulders, be careful not to hunch them up or lower them too much. And then from here, we're just going to march forward. So we're going to lift the legs up, forward, and we're going to do 10 forward like this. So when you're ready, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then 10 back, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8 forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 forward. 1, 2. 2 back. 1, 2. Okay, hopefully that warmed you up some. From here, standing nice and tall, feet a comfortable distance width apart. Root from the hips into the earth, shoulders again gently on the back, and with or without your weights, just bicep curls. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then from here, go ahead, bend your elbows, bring the elbows parallel, bicep curls again. Watch and make sure you don't break at the wrist. And also be careful of not hyperextending the elbows. So standing up nice and tall. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bicep curls to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead from here, lower the arms down. Again, shoulders gently moving toward each other on the back. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, leaning gently to your right. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale with control, left arm goes down, palm face down. So inhale, the right arm lifts up, palm face up. Exhale, leaning over to your left. Inhale, back to center, turn the palm out. Exhale with control, slowly lower down. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, lean to your right. Inhale, up to center. Exhale with control, lower down. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, lower down. One more time each side. Inhaling up. Exhale, side body stretch. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, back down. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale and lean. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, lower down. From here, bend your knees a little bit. So a little bend in the knees. Knees outer hip distance width apart. And then pivoting at the hips with a long spine. Exhale, leaning forward, not letting the back round. Shoulders gently on the back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, leaning forward. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean forward. Bend your elbows here, shoulders gently on the back. And then from here, we'll just do 5 on each side. So one arm, right arm forward, left arm back, right hand palm face down, left arm palm face up, coming back to center, and then left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, back to center. The forward hand, the palm is face down, the back hand, the palm is face up, back to center. Second side, left arm forward, right arm back to center. 3 more. Two more. Last one. Coming back to center here. Inhale, back up to standing. And then we're going to put the weights down. And to put the weights down, I want you to open your feet a bit wider apart than hip distance. Maybe turn knees out from the hips, so knees track over second, third toes still. Bending those knees, nice long spine. Set whatever you want to set down. So remember just to practice that when you're picking things up and putting things down. And then from here, coming to standing at the top of the mat, hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back, coming into your breath. So feel the breath moving you. Feel the breath moving through you. Connect from those hips into the earth. Feel the spine lengthen up. Then exhale, release the hands. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. And just like with the weights, bend your knees a little bit. Hands come wide, folding forward, but only to where your spine is extended. And then inhale, coming back up. And exhale, hands together in front of the heart. So inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale, folding forward, not to the point where your back rounds, but your core is engaged. You're lengthening the spine. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. One more time. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale, folding forward, spine is lengthening out of the hips. Breathe here. And then only if it feels good for your low back, exhale, you can gently let your back round and fold in. Hands maybe to the floor, maybe to the legs. You still have maybe that block around, so you might want to grab the block and bring the hands to the block. Again, whatever works for you here. And then from here, inhale, lifting up and lengthening. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hold. Inhale, long spine, arms wide, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reaching all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reaching up high. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Go ahead, open your legs wide, facing towards the side. Line the feet up here. Maybe open the feet a bit wider, so you have to work heading in from your feet to your hips. But remember to find a place that you do feel stable. So if going wider makes you unstable, then go back closer in. Your knees facing forward, second, third toes facing forward too. And then stacking, lining yourself up over the back of your feet. So tops of legs back over heels, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. Pressing down through those feet, hugging in through the hips. Opening your arms into a T, drawing those shoulder blades in towards each other on the back, rooting from the hips into the earth, lengthening up to the crown of the head. Breathing here. Then exhale, bring your hands back to your hips. Maybe turn those left toes in a bit, right toes all the way out. Track right knee towards second or third toe. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend with the right knee bent, right elbow to the right leg. Gently press that knee open. Move both shoulders on the back. Lengthen the spine out of the hips. And lining the head and the neck up. Inhale, left arm can move so the arm is by the ear if your shoulder feels good. And then exhale, left arm back by your hip. Inhale, left arm up by the ear. Exhale, arm back by your hip. Inhale, arm by your ear. Press down to the feet, lengthen through the spine. Keep your legs nice and steady and strong on the earth. Rise up through the torso, looking over the right fingers. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Then exhale, go ahead, release, soften that left knee. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Take a moment, stack the tops of your leg bones even here, back over that right heel. And left knee tracks towards second or third toe. Then exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Parsvakonasana, left arm to the left leg. Gently press the knee open. Shoulders on the back, connecting from the feet into the earth. And inhale the right arm by the ear with the shoulders on the back. Exhale, back by your hip. Inhale, arm by the ear. Head and neck in a nice line, but you can look in any direction you'd like with that in mind. Exhale by the hip. Inhale, right arm by the ear. Press strongly into your feet. Find the length in the spine. And then without moving the legs so much, rising up through the torso, looking over the left fingers. Breathe here. Hands back to your hips. Soften your knees. 10 toes facing towards wide. And then with your knees a bit soft, lengthen the spine. Feel the hips move. Feel your spine extending. Move those hips. Maybe bend the knees more if your hips get stuck. Tilting the hips a little towards the sky. Spine still lengthening here. And then if you want to, again, if it feels good for your back, you can gently let the back round, hands to legs or the floor. Breathe. If you do choose to walk your hands closer to your feet, try to keep your tailbone, the bottom of your hips, lifting up higher than the low back. So tilting the hips. If that's not happening, if your low back is pulling up, bend your knees and try to tilt those hips. Breathe. And then inhale, go ahead and walk your hands backward, knees a bit soft. Engage your core so you can lift your hands up fine. And then with a long spine all the way up. When you're ready, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, the feet towards each other. Shaking the legs out. And coming to standing at the top of the mat. The next thing we're going to do, you could do with light weights too, or you can do without. So you might take a moment and grab the light weights. What we're going to do here is first just Utkatasana again. So knees as wide apart as the feet. Bend the knees with control, shoulders on the back, lift the arms up. And then exhale, come back down. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, coming back up. This time, as we bend the knees and come into Utkatasana, we're going to shift the weight into the right foot and step the left foot back. Right knee stays second, third toe. We're not going way far back like you might do in yoga class. You're just stepping the foot back with control. And then exhale, press down to the right foot and step the foot back forward. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, forward. 2 more times. Last time. And I may have said right foot at some point. We stayed on the left side, so you just step the left foot back. Now we'll do the right side. So 5 times on the right side, stepping the right foot back. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale and forward. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, forward. 2 more times. Last time. Okay, coming to standing at the top of the mat. Remember, you have weights that you need to put down. So again, bend your knees, track knees towards second or third toe, spine fairly long, put the weights down. And then coming to standing near the top of the mat. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back, connect from the hips into the earth. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees deeply, trying to get the hands to the ground, and we'll walk the feet back, downward facing dog. Pressing those hips up, back, away from you. Almost pretend like you're going to lift your wrists up without actually doing that. You can bend and straighten the legs, bend the back of the legs. And then with your next exhale, coming down to all fours. And making your way into a child's pose. Feet together, knees apart, hips towards heel, head towards ground. Feel free to lift up a bit higher if your knees are not happy with the hips coming down, or if your low back is bothering you some. Breathing wherever feels comfortable for you. And then we're going to come to sitting near the top of the mat, and the block, the strap, and the weights, you'll want them, if you're using them, someplace where you can easily grab them while you're lying on your back. So I'll move them over to the side so you can see me, but keeping those, if you're using them, near where you can grab them. And for this exercise, for this series, the strap could of course be a towel or anything you have handy. I should have mentioned that earlier. The block is, we're just going to squeeze it a lot between our legs. So a lot of times in Pilates class, I actually use a ball instead of a block, but again, just something that you can squeeze. Okay, from here, holding on underneath the back of your legs, inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down onto your back. And then once you're on your back, you can hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking a little side to side. Letting go of the knees and draw circles on the ceiling with the knees in one direction. And then drawing the circles on the ceiling with the knees in the other direction. Coming back to center, lowering the soles of the feet to the ground. And here with your feet about hip distance width apart, feel your hips heavy. Feel the low back right above the hips lifting up a little bit. So there's an arch there. Feel the shoulders heavy. Feel the neck lifting up a little bit, an arch there. Feel the back of your head with your chin in neutral heavy. Keeping this low back arch. So there are times during this class we'll intentionally keep it. There are times that our back will be rounded, but only if it works for you. But I want you to really be aware of when you're doing one versus the other. So right now there's an arch in the back, but these low ribs, our core, we're going to engage them. So the bottom tips of the low ribs, you're going to move down towards the ground. Nice engaged core. Not so much that the back flattens, but so your core is engaged. Then if you're using the block, you'll grab the block here, stretch the block up towards the ceiling between the hands, and here, exhale, press the shoulders down into the ground, shoulder blades on the back. Inhale, lift the shoulders away from the ground, shoulder blades off the back. Exhale, press the shoulders into the ground, shoulders on the back. Inhale, lift the shoulder blades off the ground, shoulders off the back. Exhale, press the shoulder blades into the ground, shoulders on the back. With your shoulders on the back, inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, lower the arms towards your legs. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Whole time, shoulders pressing down. Nothing else is moving. Exhale, arms lower, just your arms. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, lower the arms down. Go ahead, take the block. Hug the block between the upper inner thighs. Bring the arms by the sides. Maybe even wiggle the shoulders underneath you on the back more. Make sure your gaze is facing up towards the sky. Feel that arch in the neck. Feel that low back arch, but again, core is engaged. And we're going to even lift the chest, the sternum up a little higher with our core engaged. Then keeping this general shape of the back. So we're not tucking the tailbone under for now. We're just keeping this lovely natural arch of the back. Inhale, lift your hips just straight up. Exhale and lower them back down. Inhale, lift your hips up only as high as feels good for you. Exhale, lower down. So it's fine if you're just doing an inch or two. Inhale and lifting the hips up. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, hips lift up. Exhale, lower. If you're not using the block particularly, make sure you're keeping the inner edges of your feet pressing down and you're keeping your knees from opening wide to the sides. So you're drawing, hugging in a little bit so the legs don't open wide, the inner edges of your feet stay rooted. One more time. Inhale, hips and chest lift, stretching the hips and chest away from each other. Again, only lifting the hips as much as feels good for you. So if your hips are only an inch or two away from the ground, that's fine. If you're lifting up higher, that's fine too, but keep pressing the inner edge of the feet down, knees stretching forward, hips stretching forward, chest stretching back in the opposite direction. Then exhale, lower all the way down. You can move the block over to the side for the moment. Hands to the tops of the thighs. Press the tops of the thighs away, gently swaying the knees side to side. Then coming back to center with the natural curves of the back. So low back is lifted a bit, but the core, the low ribs are moving down, engaged. Then from here, with the shoulders gently moving towards each other on the back, exhale, lift your head and shoulders up. So now the low back will come towards the ground because you're lifting the head and shoulders up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift and hold. Now, if this position bothers neck, low back, anything, then you can stay lower down but with the core engaged. If you need to take breaks in any pose that we do this general position, you can lower down, core staying engaged. So here or here. Breathing wherever you're at. If you want to grab that block again, you can. We're going to lift the feet up and you're going to hug the block between the shins if you have it. If not, hug legs in or have a little space between the legs, engaged. And then from here, feel free to stay here. Inhale, pumping the hands for 5. Exhaling for 5. Feel free to straighten the legs up to the ceiling. Inhale, pumping the arms for 5. Exhale for 5. Or making sure those low ribs don't start to pop up on you. Start to lower the legs closer to the ground. Inhaling for 5. Exhaling for 5. We'll do this for 7 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale, 6 more. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, you can lower the head and shoulders down at any time. Inhale. Exhale, 4 more. Inhale. Exhale, 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead, lower the head and shoulders down. Bend your knees, grab the block, hug the knees into the chest, gently rocking. And then from here, come back to center. Lower the feet to the ground. Natural curves of the spine, core engage. But now see what it feels like to straighten the legs along the ground. Knees and toes up to the sky, rooting the legs down. Low back again is still lifted, but low ribs moving down. And then from here, again, if you have a strap or a towel and you want to, you can grab it. I like to a lot of times double up a strap if I'm using it because it actually makes it easier for me to grab. I'm going to pull the strap taut. I'm going to reach my arms up to the ceiling, hands wide enough apart that feels comfortable for me. And then I'm going to connect those shoulders down to the ground. Then when I'm ready, inhale, stretch the arms up overhead, stretching out through the legs, stretching up through the arms. And with my core engaged, exhale, coming all the way up, rolling vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, sitting up. Exhale with control, rolling back down. If knees bent is better for you, you can bend your knees. Inhale, stretching long. Exhale, rolling up. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, rolling back down. But if leg straight is accessible, you can straighten the legs. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale with control, coming up. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, going back down. 2 more times. Inhale, extending. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, extending, sitting up nice and tall. So if your back's rounding here, bend your knees, lengthen, exhale, and come all the way back down. Inhale, 1 more time, lengthen. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, all the way back down. And then from here, again, your leg can be straight or you can have a bent knee. Go ahead and take the strap, if you're using it, around the right foot. Left leg again can be straight or bent and coming into the hamstring stretch. So again, feel free to use a towel here, pulling that right leg in towards you, just getting a lovely hamstring stretch. Breathe. So if you're not using strap and you want to do grab back of the legs or whatever, you could do that as well. But again, towel is easy enough. Make sure your right leg is rooted, knee and toe up toward the sky. If it feels better for your back, though, you can bend the knee. And it doesn't have to be this deep of a bend even. If you want to, you can have the leg somewhere in between, but feel both hips pressing down strongly. Breathing wherever you're at. The leg straight stretches out that front thigh, so that can be nice. And then exhale, go ahead and release. So from here, turn out the legs a little bit. So your knees are turning slightly to the sides. Point your toes. Hips are still rooted. Core is still engaged. Arms by the sides. And then from here, keeping that right leg straight. Exhale, lift the right leg up. And then inhale, lower it back down. Exhale, lift the right leg up. Inhale, lower it back down. Exhale, lift the right leg up. Inhale, act like you're going to lower it down, but not all the way. And then exhale, circle it wide around and back up. Inhale, pressing it down. Hips are staying heavy. Nothing else is moving. The rest of your muscles are holding the body still. We'll do 2 more. Your glutes are really engaged. A lot of this movement is powered from your glutes. So last one in this direction. And then we'll circle the leg out and around and exhale back in through center. Inhale, out and around. Exhale, back in through center. Inhale, out and around. Exhale, in through center. 2 more. Last one. And then here, coming back into a hamstring stretch. You could grab the leg with your hand, or you can use a strap again. Breathing. And then with that nice long extended leg, lower that leg down. Okay. Second side, left leg straight, exhale and lift. Inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, act like you're going to lower, and then exhale, circle it wide around and back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, wide around and back up. Rest of the muscles holding you steady and still. Inhale, lower. Exhale, wide around, back up. Glutes are nice engaged. Inhale, lower. 2 more. Last one. And then go ahead, coming back and wide around and up. Opening wide around, going down. And exhale, back up through center. Inhale, wide around and down. Exhale, back up through center. Inhale, wide around and down. Exhale, back up through center. 2 more. Last one. Coming into the hamstring stretch, breathe in here. And then go ahead with control, lowering that left leg back down. Knees and toes pointing back up to the sky, rooting down through the legs. Inhale, stretch your spine long. Exhale, rolling all the way up to sitting. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall here, lifting the low back out of the hips. So again, if you need to do that, bend your knees, go ahead and bend your knees. And then from here, core engaged, make sure your hips move. And we're not going to reach down so much. We're going to exhale and reach forward. And inhale, come back up. Exhale and reach forward. Inhale, come back up. Exhale and reach forward. Inhale, back up. 2 more times. Last time. And then go ahead and slide your hips forward, coming to bouncing on your tailbones. So letting the back gently round now, so the back is rounded, and floating your toes up. You can hold on to the back of your knees. You can hold on to your shins. You could wrap your hands in more, but coming to a nice rounded back. We are going to roll back, stopping at our shoulder blades, and come back up. Now, if rolling like a ball is not appropriate for your body, then you'll do sitting up, rounding, sitting up. So you'll repeat that from earlier, but if this is, you're going to think of this in the same way. You're going to imagine you're rolling vertebrae by vertebrae down and then coming back up to balance. So inhale and down, exhale and balance. Inhale down, exhale and balance. Inhale down, Exhale and balance. 2 more. Last one. And then holding on underneath the back of your legs, back gently rounded, core engaged. Inhale, right leg extends to the right side. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, left leg extends to the left side. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, both legs can open. Exhale, back in. Inhale, both legs can open. Exhale, back in. Inhale, both legs can open. Exhale, back in. Lower the feet down. Slide your hips back. Open your feet as wide apart as your mat, or even a bit wider. Again, bend your knees enough that you can sit up nice and tall. Hands into a T here. And then from here, we're going to take the right arm. We're going to twist, take it across the left leg and come forward. And then inhale, back up. Make sure, again, your hips are moving. Only go as far as feels good for your back. Exhale and twist, coming forward. And then inhale, back up. Knees and toes facing towards the sky. Exhale, twisting, right arm across left leg. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twisting, left arm across right. Inhale, back up. 2 more times each side. One more time each side. Your right arm across left leg. Inhale, back up. Left arm across right leg. Inhale, back up. Sit up nice and tall here, lengthening through the spine. Then exhale, go ahead and release. Bring your feet back together. Hands underneath the thighs. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking and doing any adjustments you need to. And then coming back to center, feet on the ground, natural curves of the back, core engaged, and then exhale, engaging your core even more to lift head and shoulders up. Lifting the feet up off the ground here. With your knees bent, hug your right leg in, straighten the left leg, either towards the ceiling, which is a bit easier, or angling towards the ground, and then switching sides. Switching sides, switching sides, switching sides, switching sides. Just stay breathing and moving here. Moving with control. So again, in Pilates, a lot of times, the original name was Controlology. So you don't want to do any excess muscle movement. So you're using your muscles to hold everything else steady and just focusing on the movement that you're focusing on here, bending and straightening the legs. And then coming back to center, hugging both knees into the chest. And then from here, inhale, you can reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, circle them in, around, and down. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, circle in, around, and down. Inhale, opening up, low ribs stay hugging in. Exhale, circling in, around, and down. But remember, you can do this with the low ribs hugging in, the natural curves of the back, if that feels better for any part of your body. Last time, hug the knees into the chest, gently rocking. And then letting go of the knees and just drawing circles on the ceiling with the knees in one direction. And then draw circles on the ceiling with the knees in the other direction. Come back to center. Lower the soles of the feet to the ground. Cross your right ankle over the left knee, stretching along through the inner edge of the ankle. Be careful your foot doesn't do what we call sickling. The ankle doesn't twist. You're stretching along through the inner edge of the foot. You're pulling the baby toe of the foot back, and then gently feeling the right thigh pressing away from you. Feel free to keep this left foot on the ground, and if it's hard to cross the ankle over the left knee, feel free to slide the left foot out further. But if you want to, feel both hips heavy here. So we're still in that natural curve of the back position, and then lifting the left leg up, holding on to the back of the left leg, trying even in this position to feel the hips heavier on the ground than the low back. Breathing here, shoulders heavy, back of the head presses down. If your shoulders and head are lifting up, you might want to take that block and use it as support under the head and shoulders, or engage your core so that you're moving from your core instead of the shoulders, or grab the strap or the towel and take the strap or the towel around the back of the left leg. So options, variations. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Uncross the right leg. Cross the left ankle over. Stretch through the inner edge of the ankle. Feel the left thigh moving away from you. You could also just keep the right foot on the ground. So if that's a better position for you, hips heavy, right foot could stay on the ground. You can lift it up if you want to. And if you want to, left hand between the hole in the legs, right hand around the outer legs. But seeing if maybe you can relax the head and shoulders down. And again, you can use towel or strap to facilitate that. Or if you decide you like your head and shoulders lifted, move from your core. So don't feel the pulling so much in your neck and shoulders. Feel the engagement of your core and move from your core instead. Breathe. And then go ahead and release. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. And then we're going to come onto our belly. So since this is video, you might have to adjust where you are on your mat. I'm going to have to adjust where I am, so I think for a clearer picture. So coming onto your belly, however works for you, your stomach. And then from here, gently rocking the hips from side to side. Come back to center. Stretch the arms forward out in front of you. Press down through your hips, feel the low ribs hugging in, feel your knees facing down. Keep your hips pressing down strongly. Inhale, right leg, left arm lifts, but the right hip doesn't lift up. Stretch them maybe out away from each other. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, left leg, right arm, left hip stays on the ground though. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. You're not lifting up super high. You're just keeping it low, just moving. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. With your elbows on the ground, slide your hands back. So your whole forearm is on the ground. You're not letting the elbows lift up. You're here low. Gently move the shoulders toward each other on the back. Hips stay pressing down. Low ribs stay hugging on. Inhale, lifting up only as high as feels good for your low back, your shoulders, your neck. Exhale and lower back down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. 2 more times, moving with your breath. Inhale, lift, hold here, breathe, and readjust yourself so your elbows are underneath the shoulders. From here, press the hips down, low ribs hug in, lifting up through the chest. Stretch back through the legs, maybe so much the feet lift up, maybe not. Hug the legs in towards each other. Maybe they move in all the way towards each other, maybe not. Maybe you decide to grab the block and squeeze the block between your upper and inner thighs here and hug that block in. So that's also a really good adjustment modification here. Then from here, exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend the right knee, hips staying heavy. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Then we'll do the left side. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, straighten. Go ahead, release down. Head and shoulders down. Gently rock the hips from side to side. Again, you don't have to have the block, but if you're using it, you can keep it there. And then coming back to center, press your hips down and just see what it feels like to turn your head to the left side. With your head and neck in a nice line with the rest of the spine. And if that feels good, hold this turn of the head and neck if that feels like a good neck stretch for you. And then second side. And if this doesn't feel good for your neck, just keep your forehead resting on your arms. Come back to center. Hugging the legs in, pressing down through the hips, low ribs engaged, hugging the block if you're using it. And then from here, again, stretch out through the legs. So the feet might float up, they might not. Keep the hips pressing down. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale and straighten. And then with your next inhale, lift up if you would like to through the chest. And exhale, lower back down. Exhale and bend. Knees, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, straighten. Hips rooting down. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, straighten. And then inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, lower. We'll do this one more time. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, lower back down. Resting the head on the hands. You can move the block over to the side, gently rocking. And then as you're ready, coming back into a child's pose. Breathing here. Nice, full, deep breaths. Make your way to lying on your right side. So you might need to move whatever you're watching so it's in front of you this way now. Okay. On your right side, you're going to line your torso up against the back edge of the mat, but you're going to let there be a bend in your hips, and your feet are going to be towards the front edge of the mat. You might prop your head up on your hand. If you do this, remember to press your head back into your hand so the hand doesn't force your neck into a lateral bend here, so you might have to root back down. If that doesn't feel good for your neck, then arm straight, lower down. Your left hand will be in front of the chest. And again, I mentioned earlier that you don't want a lot of extraneous movement in Pilates. So what you're watching for is not to do what I'm doing right now. So you're going to try not to let the torso rock. You're going to engage your muscles of the core, torso stays steady, lift the left leg up, and then exhale with the leg straight, kicking it forward, and inhale and back. But again, keeping the rest of your body still. Exhale forward, inhale back. Traditionally, there's a little turn out through that left knee here. Exhale forward, inhale back. 3 more times. 2 more. Last time. And then go ahead. Stack left leg on top of the right. Turn out even more so your left knee and toes are pointing more towards the sky. And then inhale, lifting the leg up quickly, fairly quickly. Exhale, flex the foot. Act like you're pressing through something and lower the leg down. Point the toe, quick up. Exhale, act like you're pressing through something, lower down. Point the toe, quick up. Exhale, slowly lower down. 3 more times. 2 more. The last one. Pointing the left toes, circling that top leg. And then changing the direction of the circles. Coming back to center here. Bend your knees. Go ahead and coming to sitting with this right hip heavier than the left if this works for your knees. If this doesn't work for your knees, come into another comfortable sitting position. And even though this position forces us into that right hip, so the right hip feels heavy, we feel slantwise and awkward, you're going to take the left hand, hold onto your left shin, sit up nice and tall, lift the right arm up, and lean over to the left. Then inhale back to center, lower the right hand down, right shoulder gently on the back, and exhale, leaning to the right. Inhale up, exhale to the left, inhale up, exhale to the right, inhale up, exhale to the left, inhale up, exhale to the right. Come up to center and make your way to your second side. Lining yourself up against the back edge of the mat, bending at your hips, feet near the front edge of the mat, lifting that right leg up, maybe a bit turn out. Be careful engaging so you're not rocking. Exhale, right leg forward and inhale back. Exhale and forward, inhale back. Exhale forward, inhale back. 2 more times. Last time. Then go ahead and turn those right toes up to the sky. Inhale, quick up, flex your foot like you're pressing through something, lower down. Point the toe, quick up. Exhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Point the toe, quick up. Exhale, slowly lower down. 3 more times. 2 more. Last time. And then pointing the toe, circling that top leg. And changing the direction of circles. Come back to center. Bend the knees, coming onto that left hip, but lengthening the spine out of the hip. Right hand holds onto the leg. Left arm lifts up to the sky. Exhale, lean to your right. Inhale up to center. Left shoulder on the back. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Come up to center. Make your way to all fours. Your hands and knees. And once you're in all fours, fingers spreading nice and wide apart, weight more in the front of the hands, pretending like you're going to lift the wrists up. Knees far enough away from the hands that you can lengthen the spine. Then inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, shoulder blades gently moving towards each other on the back, a bit of a valley between the shoulder blades. And then from here, we're going to inhale the right leg up, back behind us, keeping the hips fairly level, and maybe left arm too. And then exhale and lower back down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale and lower. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale and lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Lower the left hand down. Lower the right leg down straight. Notice where your hips are. Keep your hips this high, and if it works for you, straighten the left leg too, coming into a plank pose. For the shoulders on the back, line your head and neck up, core engaged, breathe. And then exhale, lower the knees down. And come back into a child's pose. Breathe. Come forward onto your belly. Rock your hips. Come back to center with the hips. Press them down, stretching your arms forward out in front of you. Keep your hips, both of them heavy and pressing down, core engaged, lifting up a little bit through the head and chest of this time, maybe floating the hands up, maybe floating the feet up, and then just swimming, but keeping the hips heavy, breathing. Go ahead and lower all the way back down and come into a child's pose. Breathing here. Come up to all fours. And then from here, stretch that left leg back behind you. Again, notice where your hips are, engaged through the core, shoulders on the back. If it works for you, plank, lift the right leg up too. Then from here, I want you to keep the hips pretty high, core engaged. But if it works for you, I want you to slide the chest forward a little bit, pulling the shoulders back, and then exhale back up to plank. So inhale, what looks or feels like a very high up dog in yoga. Exhale, back to plank. Not letting the hips drop as much as you might for an up dog in yoga class. Inhale, chest slides forward, shoulders back. Exhale, hips lift back up. And then from here, lift up and back, downward facing dog, bending and straightening the legs. And then exhale, lower down to all fours. Inhale, stretch your spine nice and long. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, stretch your spine long. Exhale and round. Inhale, stretch your spine long, shoulders on the back, knees bent. Inhale, lift the knees up, press the hips back, nice long spine. Exhale, lower the knees back down so you're not straightening the legs. Knees are bent the whole time. Inhale, lift the knees up. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift your knees up, stretch your spine long, and now, keeping the spine long, maybe play with straightening the legs. But if your back starts to round, stop straightening the legs. Keep your spine in a place that's nice, extended. Feel the shoulders lifting up, away from the ground a little bit, breathing here. And then from here, inhale forward into a plank pose. You might have to wiggle your hands and feet wider apart, core engaged, hips high. Exhale, back up to downward facing dog. Legs can be bent or straight. Inhale, forward into a plank pose, trying to keep hands and feet this wide apart. Exhale, back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, forward into a plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees down and come to your belly. Breathe. Nice, full, deep breaths. And then come forward onto your belly. Gently rock your hips from side to side. Come back to center. Hands to either sides of your chest. Now your elbows are lifted. Float up to the hands. Curl up to the upper back. Shoulders on the back. Press down to the hips. If you want to float up to the legs, you can. And then lower the hands back down. Act like you're going to drag the hands back. Get length in the spine. Feel free to stay here or here. Or if you want to, keeping your back frozen in this position, keeping this much bend through your body. Inhale, just press down through your hands, rocking up. And then exhale and lower down. Inhale, rocking up. Exhale and lower. Inhale, rock up. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Last time. And then go ahead and come back into a child's pose. Breathe. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, spine nice and long, shoulders on back. Exhale, downward facing dog with that nice long spine. So maybe your knees stay bent, maybe they straighten, maybe they're a little bit straighter, but still a little bit bent. Inhale, forward into plank pose, shoulders on the back. Exhale, and then inhale, pull the chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, lift all the way up and back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, moving through into this modified up dog that's more Pilates style, shoulders back. Exhale, lifting up. So you're not letting the hips go super low. You're keeping the hips higher and you're really working the power in your arms. Your chest is forward, shoulders back. Exhale, lift hips up and back. Come into a child's pose. Breathing here. That was the last hard thing we're doing today. So we're just going to wind down a bit now. And then coming to sitting. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Sit up nice and tall. Take your left foot by your right hip. Right foot by left knee. Press both hips on the ground, sitting up and twisting to the right. If you want to, left arm can cross over the right leg. If you prefer to cross the foot over the knee, as long as you can keep your right hip rooted and the right foot rooted, you can do that. And then exhale, go ahead and wind. Feet on the ground, sit up nice and tall. Right foot by left hip, left foot by right knee, or crossing over. Both hips on the ground, left sole of the foot on the ground, sit up nice and tall. Left hand back behind you. Right arm can cross over or not, just again, depending on how you like to twist. If your back is rounding here, lean back away from that bent knee cell. And then exhale, unwind. Soles of your feet together, knees apart, pulling onto your shins, feeling a lifting up in the shins, but trying to get the inner thighs to feel like they're moving down towards the ground. Sitting up nice and tall here, breathe. And then you can slide the feet a bit further forward, making sure your hips can tilt some here. Tilting the hips and take a gentle forward fold. Inhale, come back up. Soles of the feet on the ground. Hands underneath the thighs. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale and round. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale and round. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. And then letting go of your knees and drawing circles on the ceiling with the knees in one direction. And then circles on the ceiling with the knees in the other direction. Coming back to center here. Feet can come to the ground. Grabbing the block if you have it, if you like it. Hug the block between your knees and then lifting the feet back up. So again here, see if you can feel the hips heavy. Low back light, lifting up. Shoulders heavy, neck lifting up, back of head heavy, but core engaged. Arms can be in a T position, an airplane position, a cactus position, any place where it feels good for your shoulders that you can root them and the back of the head down. And then keep the shoulders and the back of the head on the ground. Exhale the knees over to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale, center. Exhale the knees to the right, holding the knees over on the right side, breathing here. And then coming up to center. Exhale the knees to the left side. Breathe. And then inhale up to center. You could go ahead, put the block over to the side, hug the knees into the chest, gently rocking. Come back to center here, holding on to your knees. Press your knees out into the hands. And again, notice how this arch comes back to your low back as you do that. Draw your low ribs in. Keep a bit of this arch with your knees wide. Pull them back in towards you. You can rock from side to side here, or you can flip the feet up to the sky, holding on to the back of your knees. Lower legs are outside edges of your feet. And then coming back into center. Full body stretch. Stretch the arms up above the head, legs along the ground. Lengthen everything out. And you can make your way into Shavasana. And since you're at home, feel free to Shavasanize, which is an official word, for as long as you want. So, just in Shavasana, just let yourself feel heavy and weighty. If leg straight bothers your low back, feel free to bend your knees. With every exhale, let your muscles release out into the earth. Let your bones feel heavy. Let your skin feel soft. Whenever you're as relaxed as you're going to get, let go of your breath and rest. I am going to go ahead and and end the video, but you can stay in Shavasana as long as you want.